You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, as always, Chase Sr. Coming your way on today's show, going to answer all of your questions revolving around the NBA draft, NBA free agency, as well as the NBA playoffs, and we're taking your super chats and your donations as well. We start off this mailbag with this question coming in from Evan Hinders. Timberwolves trade their first-round pick for Brandon Ingram, and they get Aaron Gordon. First-round pick for Brandon Ingram and Aaron Gordon. Now, if I'm New Orleans, I'm not trading away Brandon Ingram. I think he's one of the best young ascending players in the NBA last year, especially in the playoffs. He came onto the scene as one of the best offensive players in the game. He has every offensive move pretty much in his offensive pocket, and I love his length and his ability to get a shot off from anywhere. So for the Timberwolves, it'd be great to find a way to get Brandon Ingram. I don't think a first-round pick is enough for both Ingram and go get Aaron Gordon. That would, of course, revolve around a three-team deal. I think the New Orleans Pelicans are going to move forward with Brandon Ingram. They're going to see if Zion Williamson can stay healthy. And if those two players are on the floor, in addition to C.J. McCollum and some of the other complementary pieces on this roster, Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones last year was fantastic. The Pelicans, they could be a force to be reckoned with this upcoming season. The Gold Eagle 99 with the $20 super chat. Shout out to you, my guy. What about Rudy Gobert to the Mavericks for Dwight Powell, Davis Bertans, and Reggie Bullock? I do like the prospects of Rudy Gobert going to the Dallas Mavericks. I think the rim protection throughout the playoffs was a big issue, and I think that teams, once they were able to get past that first and second line of the defense, the Mavericks didn't have a rim protector to really change the complexion of games, and they got picked apart on some pick and rolls and some of the two-man games throughout a couple of these playoff series en route to what was a very impressive run to the Western Conference Finals. I think they need a bona fide rim protector, and I think that Rudy Gobert would be able to give them that. He's very expensive, though. So can you afford to bring in Rudy Gobert with a trade, sign Jalen Brunson, and also fill out the rest of your roster? I'm not sure. I might rather go with a cheaper piece as compared to Rudy Gobert so that I can bring back Jalen Brunson, who I think is a legitimate number 3 on a championship contending team. You got to find that number 2 guy. I just don't want to allocate that money to Rudy Gobert as that number 2 guy. But as a rim protector, I do like the fit on the Mavericks roster. Speaking of Luka Doncic and some other players in the NBA, I've said this a couple of times. I think the talent pool at the NBA level right now is as deep and vast as it's been in many, many years. You turn on NBA League Pass, and teams like the Orlando Magic and Detroit Pistons are actually fun to watch because of some of the young players on the team. But the upper echelon of players, also very, very elite. So speaking of that, give me the best name and the best player in the NBA right now and drop that name in the comment section. Another donation coming in from Colin Reed. He's been a big supporter of what we do here at Chat Sports. The Kings, Dort and pick number 12, OKC, pick number 4. Is it realistic? I think it's somewhat realistic. I think there are teams in the lottery who are going to be willing to trade out of their designated spots to maybe move back and pick up either another pick this year if a team has multiple first-round picks or maybe a future pick. And we know that OKC likes to wheel and deal. That is the bread and butter for Sam Presti. I honestly like Lou Dort, though, staying on OKC, and if they get their draft pick right this year, man, OKC can be a really, really good team. Now, what are they going to do with their pick? Are they going to go Chet Holmgren? Are they going to go with best player available, and could that be Jabari Smith? Could it be Paolo Banchero? Big decision upcoming for OKC. Colin, thank you for that $2 super chat. Bro football and basketball with this. Donovan Mitchell in a second for Julius Randle, Nerlens Noel in the 11th pick. If I'm Utah, that's not enough. I want more. I want R.J. Barrett. Now, I would like to see, if I'm a Knicks fan, Donovan Mitchell team up with R.J. Barrett. That could be a really good young twosome at the NBA level. And Donovan Mitchell certainly has to get better as a defensive player, but as an offensive player, he's a juggernaut. And I love his mentality. I love his competitive desire. I love his work ethic. I love how he's never afraid of the big moment in the playoffs. He's had some really good playoff moments for a Jazz team that's failed to make it out of the second round of the playoffs. But within the playoffs, he's played really, really good. For him to be considered an elite player, he has to get much better on the defensive end. And I just don't think, even though he's not a good defensive player, with what he gives you offensively, Randle, Noel, and the 11th pick is enough. I want more. I want R.J. Barrett in that deal if I'm Utah, because that will help my rebuilding process to a certain degree. Hey, we're talking about the NBA draft, and look who's tuned in. Paolo Banchero. Wood Tate, 17th pick for the Blazers' 7th pick. Yeah, a lot of jockeying here with some of these trade proposals. If I'm going from the 7th pick to the 17th pick, I want something more than Christian Wood. Christian Wood's a solid player, a guy who can stretch the floor, as a big, knock down some big shots, but I don't want to go back 10 spots because getting Christian Wood isn't going to move the needle enough for me. Now, again, I do think that there is going to be some movement within the NBA draft lottery, and some teams are going to be willing to move off of their picks because it's not as deep of a draft class as it was last year. But for both teams, I don't think that deal works. Now, in the comment section now, I want you to shout out your favorite team. I know we have people tuned in from all across the world, every pocket of America, but also worldwide as well. So I want to see which teams you are repping in the comment section. Shout out your favorite team right now. You can watch NBA Now content on YouTube. You can also watch us on Rumble as we continue to grow to the platforms that you as the viewers use. And we have a wonderful competition going on as we continue to ride the seesaw between 3 of our flagship shows here at Chat Sports. Warriors Today, NBA Now, which is what you're watching right now, as well as the Lakers Report. Look how closely tied everything is with Rumble followers. Warriors Today leading the charge by a little more than 100 followers. NBA Now right on the heels of Warriors Today. Lakers Report right there too. Subscribe to all of our NBA content on Rumble by going to rumble.com/NBA Now and show some love to the team channels as well. Norrin Reed, top unrestricted free agent targets. A lot of it is going to come down to which players opt in and which players opt out. Like Kyrie Irving, James Harden, they could become NBA free agents. Realistic guys, you're looking at DeAndre Ayton as the upper echelon of guys who are going to be free agents. And it's going to be really, really fascinating to see which players opt in, which players opt out. There could be some sign-in trades. Zach LaVine could also be an unrestricted free agent if he doesn't sign back with the Chicago Bulls. This free agency class is really, really legit. I'd say that crew is probably the best in the upper echelon of the top unrestricted free agent targets, again, depending on some of the player options. We did put a video out of the top NBA free agents. That's available on the channel right now. Jason Kreider, what are your best Rudy Gobert destinations? And something that makes me mad is that Jalen Suggs plays shooting guard right now. Do you think that Cole Anthony will move to the bench and Suggs can play his true position? Yeah, during our NBA mock draft, right after the NBA draft lottery, people were like, Jalen Suggs, he's a shooting guard. He's not a point guard. He is a point guard. Now, he plays on ball, he plays off ball, and I prefer him to play more on ball. I think he should be the point guard for the Orlando Magic moving forward. I think he has a high basketball IQ. I love the floor general nature that he brings to the floor night in, night out. As a former state champion high school quarterback and as a guy who led Gonzaga to the national title game back a couple years ago, he has great leadership qualities. His passing vision is truly special. I think his game is best when he's playing point guard because if he's playing off ball, it doesn't suit his fullest capabilities. So I agree with you. He should play more on ball. I think Cole Anthony should be the spark plug off the bench for the Orlando Magic. I think that's where he better suits. As for Rudy Gobert, top destinations, Dallas Mavericks, they need a rim protector. Charlotte Hornets would certainly be an intriguing team. The Toronto Raptors could be dangerous with Rudy Gobert. They do such a great job of player development, but they also have so much length and athleticism. Adding Rudy Gobert to the fold would be fascinating. Now, they might have to trade away a player like OG Anunoby in order to get back Rudy Gobert, but still, that team defensively could be tantalizing. Jay Harrell Obrador, hopefully I pronounced that right. Is it possible that Golden State will draft Kai Sotto with the 28th overall pick? I talked about Kai Sotto on Warriors Today, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Check out that video. It popped off. It's going to get 50,000 views and counting. Kai Sotto to the Warriors makes sense to me. Not at the 28th overall pick. I think he's better suited to be selected in the second round with 2 of the Warriors selections, which I believe off the top of my head, 51 and 55, I believe. But correct me if I'm wrong on that. My memory serves me correctly, then I'm right. But I think Kai Sotto is better as a second-round pick. I don't think he's a first-round talent. He needs to develop. He's a little bit raw right now. He's a little bit skinny. He needs to work on his body. His footwork is a tad slow, in my opinion. But I want him to go to the Warriors because I bank on their player development process to get it right. Look at what they've done with Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, back in the day with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. What they've done with Gary Payton II. The development that's taken place with Jordan Poole has been one of the craziest storylines in the NBA this year. Kai Sotto going there, I think, would be phenomenal. They have a need for depth in that front court behind Kevon Looney, who, by the way, has had a great playoff run rebounding the basketball. He was excellent against the Dallas Mavericks. There's a question mark with James Wiseman and whether or not he's going to be able to stay healthy. He only played 3 games at Memphis, not because of injuries, but because of eligibility issues. But his first 2 games, he's been off injured. So Kai Sotto going to Golden State, that'd be fascinating in my opinion. Second round pick, though, not 28th. Mike Williams, what you think is going to happen with Dame Dollar? I think Damian Lillard is going to stay. And I think when CJ McCollum got traded, that ended any speculation about Damian Lillard getting traded too. I think Portland wanted to decide between one of the 2 superstars on that team, whether it be Dame, whether it be CJ McCollum. And they traded away CJ McCollum, and it worked out really well for him. He goes to New Orleans, and I thought he played really well down the stretch and in the NBA playoffs. I think he's a good piece alongside Brandon Ingram. I want to see what Zion Williamson can bring that team and what his fit will be like. Dame Dollar, he stayed loyal to Portland. He likes the Pacific Northwest. He moved like all of his family and friends there to that area. I think he's going to stay, and I think the Trailblazers are going to try to build a roster around him that will get them back into playoff contention. Another $10 super chat coming in from the Gold Eagle 99. What do you think the likelihood that Kyrie opts out? I think it's a small percentage chance that he does. I think it all comes down to whether or not Brooklyn wants him. If Brooklyn wants him, he'll opt in because he's boys with KD and they want to make another run and they don't want to have another early playoff flameout. If Brooklyn doesn't want him, I think he'll opt out. Then the question becomes, where does Kyrie Irving go? What team is going to be willing to pay him? And are there going to be a deep number of teams that actually want him because of his lack of availability and his somewhat flakiness? I think that's a little bit of a concern for Kyrie Irving. So it all comes down to what Brooklyn wants. And with what General Manager Sean Marks had said, we want people who are invested, who want to play basketball, who care about the team. I think that was a shot and a message at Kyrie. And man, can you imagine if Kyrie leaves, James Harden's already gone, KD will be by himself on an island in Brooklyn. Is Ben Simmons ever going to play? KD going to Brooklyn, one of the worst professional decisions that's been made in the NBA in recent memory, if not all time. NBA Finals, what an awesome matchup we have to watch. Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors today. Before we get out of here on this mailbag, let me know who wins the finals. BOS for Boston, GSW for the Dubs.